Hello! Today we're going to look at some sweep arpeggios. We're going to look at B minor and A major. I'm going to play just a little sequence that goes back and forth between the two. And then what we're going to do is add in some 11ths. So this may sound a bit scary, but we're just going to do this in a very simple way. So all we'll do is take the basic triad shape and we'll replace one of the notes with the 11th. So in the case of the B minor, we're going to add the 11th in here on the 12th fret E string. And for the A major, it's going to be on the 10th fret of the E string. So let's look at the basic shapes first, and then we'll look at how we're going to tweak them. So the sequence is actually going to start with an inversion. And what that means is we're going to take our B minor triad, and instead of starting from the note B, which obviously is the root note, we're going to start from one of the other notes of the chord. So since this is a triad, it has a root, a third and a fifth, and if we want to play an inversion we could start from either the third or the fifth. So we're going to start from the fifth, and that means we're in second inversion. So the fifth is actually here on the 9th fret of the A string, and what we're going to do is start there and then hammer on to the B at the 14th fret A string, and then we'll just continue the arpeggio as normal. So the shape goes 9 to 14, then on the D string it's the 12th fret, the 11th fret on the G string, 12th fret on the B string, and the 9th fret on the E string, and then the 14th fret on the E string. So we get this. And what I'm going to do is pick that note on the 14th and then pull off back to the 10th. And then we're going to descend, but we're only going to descend halfway. So we get this. So all I did there was I descended to the G string, and then I went back up to the E string. So from the 11th fret G string, we're going to go 12 on the B, and then 10 on the E again. So we get this. So from here, we can now shift back slightly and go into the A major shape. So we're going to be starting this from the top of the arpeggio on the note E, which is the fifth of the A major shape. And we're going to do a descend halfway again, and then back up, and then descend all the way. So we're starting from the 12th fret, and we're going to pull off to 9, then play 10 on the B and 9 on the G, and then back up. And then once we've played the 9th fret on the E string again, we're going to repeat that, but we're going to play from the 12th fret E string, we're going to go all the way down this time. So we're going to do this. So that's 12, pull off to 9, then 10 on the B, 9 on the G, then 11 on the D string, and 12 on the A string. So that whole part will sound like this. Now these are all 8th note triplets, so we're just counting 1 under, 2 under, 3 under, 4 under. So you get 3 notes for every beat of the bar. So far we've played 2 bars. So now that we've finished the A major arpeggio on the 12th fret A string, we're going to slide up to the 14th fret, which puts us back on the note B. Now, the first time we played this, we started on the 5th. This time, because of the way we're sliding up, we're actually starting from the root note, so we're back in root position of the chord. And because we've now got a note missing from the beginning, we're going to add one at the end, and this is just going to be an octave of the root note. So it's going to be the note B, and it's going to be the 17th fret E string, and we're going to tap it with our picking hand. So we get this same shape as before, but with the tap. So it'll go, and then all the way back down. And we're sort of ending that on the D string at the 12th fret. So we get this. And then we're going to play that again, starting from B on the 14th fret A string. Only this time, instead of the tap, we're going to add our 11th. And you'll notice I did the half descend and ascend again. So the shape's the same as before. 14, 12, 11, 12, 10, moving up each string. And then instead of hammering on to the 14th fret, we hammer on to the 12th fret. So that's our 11th. So if you think about this in terms of the scale or mode that this would come from, we're thinking of, we've got our B minor chord, and because of the way these two chords are structured, this could either be a 2-1 progression, or you could think of it as a 6-5 progression. So the B can either be based on B minor, or it could be based on B Dorian. If that sounds really complicated, don't worry about it too much. We've got plenty of posts on modes that you can check out if you want to get more into that. But for now, just know that those two modes are what we can use to build the chord from. Okay, so if we look at the B minor scale, we can take the first, third and fifth notes to build the chord, to get B minor. And what we're doing is we're adding a fourth. Now, the reason we're calling it an 11 rather than a 4 is because we want the chord to go root, third, fifth, and then the 11th, rather than if we call it a fourth, then it kind of sounds like it would come before the fifth. So that's all an 11th is, really. Now, the reason this is B minor add 11 and not just B minor 11 is that if we called it B minor 11, that implies that we've taken a B minor 7 and added an 11 on as well. So if you see the chord as minor 11 or major 11, then it usually means the 7th is included as well. The 9th usually is kind of optional. So if it's an add 11 chord, then all it is just the basic triad and then the 11th as well, without the 7th. Now, in order to keep this exactly one bar long, so the note's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that fits nicely into one bar. If we played the 11th on the way up and on the descend, then we'd have too many notes. If you're writing a song, then that doesn't necessarily matter, because you'll obviously you won't necessarily want every arpeggio to be exactly one bar long. So in a musical context, it could overlap into the next bar, or it could be less than a bar long. But for simplicity for this exercise, we're making each arpeggio exactly one bar. and keeping the timing very, the same throughout. So that just makes it easier to practice this and to loop it round in order to get a lot of repetitions in to build up the muscle memory. So we don't want to play the 11 twice when we're going up and down. We just want to play it on the ascend, and then we're going to pull off straight to the 10th fret from the 14th. So we get this. And the whole thing will be like that. So for the A major shape now, instead of going from the 12th fret to the 9th fret, which would be the 5th and then the major 3rd, which is what we did the first time round, this time we are going to play an 11th on this chord as well, so this will become A major add 11. And the 11th here is going to be on the 10th fret. So instead of going 12 pull to 9, we're going to do 10 pull to 9. So you get that sound. Now we're actually going to do this on the first part when we descend only halfway, and then the second time round when we descend the whole thing, we're going to go back to playing the 12th fret, which is the 5th. So that little piece will sound like this. From there, we're just going to add a little ending to the lick, which is going to be to slide up to the 17th fret, and we're going to play 17, 16, 14, and then we're going to repeat that a couple of octaves down. So it's going to be... And if you don't have an 8th string, you can play that on here. 3, 2, open on the 7th string. I was playing it here 8, 7, 5 on the F sharp string. Or you could play the same thing on the E string, which would be 10, 9, 7. And I'm adding a bit of a swing rhythm to that part. So the whole thing slowly sounds like this. And of course, instead of that ending, you could go back into another arpeggio. You could look at what key that you're in and add in other arpeggios based on other chords, and take this in a different direction, or anything you want, really. From here, we could go into like a rhythm section based on B. So I was playing notes based from the B minor scale there, but you could also, as I said before, since these two chords both fit into B Dorian as well, you could pick notes from the B Dorian mode instead, something like this. So you get a tritone here between the minor third and the major sixth, which can be quite nice for a heavier sound. But you can do whatever you want with that, really. And as I said, you could go into another arpeggio further up or lower down if you wanted to carry on the sweeping. Also, if you're practicing this, when you get to the end there, instead of going into the, you could just go straight back into the B minor and start it from the 9th fret like we did at the beginning. So you could go. And you could just loop it round and round forever if you wanted to. That's quite a good way of building up your speed. If you're just going through it quite slowly, make sure your timing's correct and you're not getting too many unwanted notes or any weird string noise, and just go through it slowly over and over and over, and your hands will get used to where they need to go, so eventually you'll be able to play it at quite a high speed without having to think too much. That sort of thing. So yeah, that's the sequence. Have fun with it. Play around with some of your own ideas. See if you can fit it into your own music or into a short rhythm track or something like that. Or maybe if you've got a backing track to improvise over that's in a related key, B minor or A major or something, then you can try and throw that into there as well and see if you can get it to work.